Rampage, as you mentioned, it's evolved a lot. It went from being like really raw to really polished. Why do you think so?
I think just because the moves are getting bigger, people are beginning to trick more things. So having a little more space for error is big. Like the jumps everybody are hitting now are
huge.
Exactly. So you know what? Give a little space for error. Let like you saw how big Godcheck went off that 50-footer. He went like 75 feet. And then Tom Van Steenbergen front flipping it.
And like, I mean, as skilled as he is, like, you still have to have some margin for error. Like on a landing like this, which I still can't believe he, first of all, sent it. Second of all, landed it. Because the impact, even though it seemed like he landed perfectly, actually, the impact on his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his entire body is like something that's like no one can really understand. Like so even as he landed best case scenario, the impact was just like absolutely incredible. So with the landing like a bit shorter, a bit rougher, like maybe a bit flatter, like he would not have been able to handle.
Wouldn't even be a thought.
No.
And the fact that he sent that was bananas. Seeing Godcheck backflip it, bananas. Seeing Adolf backflip it, I can't remember who else flipped that particular drop. Reed, that's right.
Reed, Adolf, and Simon.
And then Tom comes in and front flip it. And yeah, just that impact, like all that force going forward in addition to following that far.
Yeah.
Insane. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
like just wow.
And so now, because you were there.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about Rampage. Obviously, you've been there as a competitor for many years, but now we see you on TV. So can you explain a little bit what's your position there?
Yeah, so I've been the judges analyst. So I'm not judging. I'm just trying to explain why the judges give some results. And I try to keep it positive, to keep the flow of the show there. Like I'm not going to completely criticize any decisions, but sometimes there's difficulty in explaining some of the scores. And if you look back, I'm sure you will notice one particular moment on my face where I was at a loss for words to explain a particular score. But that's part of the job. I signed up to do it, and it's a difficult one, but I feel like it's been a good job and very helpful to the viewer to understand what's happening and why people get these scores and how they can be beaten and how they can improve.
Yeah, because when you see on TV, there's a lot of things you don't realize.
Oh, yeah.
Like obviously the size of the jump, but the exposure, depending how it's filmed, you don't really notice that actually at the landing, the jump itself might not be that hard, but when you land, if you did make a mistake, you'll go off a cliff. And this is like something that obviously judges take in consideration, but when you sit on TV on your couch, you don't see that. So it's good to have like someone actually pointing that. And one thing that people might forget is that the judges have been there all week.
Yeah.
They watch what's happening, they work the line, and they also see practice. And because they see practice, they have a pretty good expectation of what the rider wants to do during final. If during practice you've done your backflip stay down absolutely perfect every time, the judges know.
Hopefully.
Yes. The judges know if you plan to add a variation to that trick. And then if during the event you don't actually flip it, they know that you've made a mistake. Something happened that, you've been distracted or like maybe it was a bit windy. But I feel like judges have expectations, right?
We have, the judges have to go in with a neutral mindset. Just because someone's done something in practice doesn't mean we have to hold them to doing their contest run. Like their run could be enough to get them to the place where they want to be, so they choose not to do it. Or something goes wrong, but the judges have to go in with a neutral mindset. We can't be, or I shouldn't say we. The judges can't go in expecting certain moves and then dock points based off of knowledge of what they expected them to do. It has to be a clean slate. They have to judge that run as neutral as possible. So it is right It is correct that we go and we watch practice. I'm hanging out with the judges, getting their intel. So I have talking points and understand where their heads are at and whatnot. But the judges cannot base the run off of what they've been told that they're to expect, because things change all the time on the fly. And if someone says they're going to flip or spin a drop and they do something else, you have to judge the run as is. You can't be like, oh, they messed up because they said they were going to do this. Like, the wind can shift. Anything can happen. They could tag the jump before. They could be going too fast. And it's like, if you're going too fast and you try to do a trick off one of those jumps, you're done for. So you have to use their discretion and judge as neutral as possible.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Obviously, that'll be a difficult place to be a judge. When you've seen a rider practice and nail a trick perfectly in practice or in training, and then they don't actually do it, it must be difficult to, judge what you saw, knowing what the rider might have missed.
Exactly.
And can you point out, actually, we should name riders, like, obviously, you're just focusing on the one. What are like 3 runs that impressed you the most, regardless of how they were judged at the last Rampage 2024?
Godcheck, Tom Van Steenbergen, Tyler McCall.
Okay.
Those are 3 that 3 runs that I was in awe of. Amplitude, speed, style, tricks. They had them all. And you need to respect the judges' decisions. I know a lot of people don't. I have experience in judging. That's probably why I think like that.
Because you've been judging as well.
I have judged Rampage twice before. And personally, I decided it is very difficult to judge and have all the judges somewhat aligned. So I opted out of doing it again. I still judge slopestyle because it's everybody down the same track. It is easier to dissect and get aligned with the judges so you understand what's happening. But all in all, like, judging Rampage is, you're getting fed to the wolves no matter what. No matter who wins, there's only going to be one happy person at the end of the day.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that. There is, and myself, as like a fan of the sport, but also someone that has been there is definitely runs that impress me more than others. And because I can do tricks, I'm actually more impressed by people that do tricks than the people who do runs that are more similar to what I will do, right? Because can I do something that's steep and gnarly? Probably. Can I do a backflip off a cliff? Absolutely not.
Not with that attitude.
Well, I could try, and everything will go smooth until I touch the ground. But it's been like 2024 Rampage was pretty crazy. The level has gone absolutely insane. There's definitely some. As you mentioned, I would like to go and walk the lines because the run of T-Mac, that step down looks absolutely ridiculous. Even the run out, when we saw Tom Eisted like not being able to shut down the speed several times, and he's obviously a great rider, but his bike is not set up to be a downhill bike. It's set up to be able to take those big impacts. So therefore, that means if you want the bike to perform correctly at the landing, you're gonna sacrifice your braking.
Exactly.
Which on this jump is equally as hard. And also you can set up the bike for just one feature that can be set up for the entire line. So there's a lot that was really interesting. One point was Semenuk making it look so easy. I was there in 2018, that was a similar line, and he had a similar double drop. I feel like on TV it looks like nothing, and he makes it look so perfect. I actually didn't notice it was an opposite tail whip. I thought it was a regular tail whip.
Yeah.
So having you explain that he did an opposite tail whip, I can't even do a tail whip, but an opposite tail whip seems even crazier. I've seen someone doing that drop afterwards, a few months after, and crashing.
Yeah. And
the way it's filmed and the violence of the crash, which I hope this person recovers properly because it was absolutely insane. Now, seeing that Semenuk did an opposite tail whip of that.
Twice.
Yeah, twice, especially because he crashed on the first run, right? This is just something I can't even understand.
Yeah.
And when you see on TV, it just really looks like nothing. But like a lot of the things we do, like even back in the days as video used to do the neural disorder, it looks like a big jump, but when you go in person and you realize what it is, it's just absolutely nonsense.
Yeah. And they try to explain the magnitude of these drops and jumps through all the graphics on the screens, but it still doesn't do it justice.
And every single feature is different. You can have just the landing like slightly steeper or slightly flatter than another jump, and that makes it a totally different and more consequential drop.
Absolutely.
So, are you going back to Rampage next year?
I hope so.
Okay.
Yeah, all signs point to yes.
Is there like any details you can share from new venue maybe? I haven't chatted with Todd. I don't know if there's anything public or...
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. It's usually around May when we start getting the details of what's happening this year. And then, we don't have flights or hotels or anything booked until month out kind of thing. So no stress on my end. I know it's a hurry up and wait game. Like most things, like Red Bull is a giant brand corporation, and they move at their speed and they do it right. So no rush.
They keep it tight and
they keep it very tight and quiet. So no intel this year, but should be pretty exciting.
Interesting.
So it always is.
Yeah. No, I look forward to see it, and I'll see if I can go in person.
Yeah.
And I've considered like going and doing some videos of practice and building and just to kind of document the things that you don't necessarily see on TV.
And honestly, the practice is the best part.
Yes, pretty the scariest part too.
You're 100% right. It's the coolest seeing everybody guinea their big moves. And sometimes it doesn't go as planned out. Like you saw Bienva's explosion last year, and that was wild. Watch him come in, and you can't say anything. Like they're in the zone. He clearly knows his speed, his skill level it speaks for itself, and still he was short by a half foot.
And that's the difference between you make it and you don't.
Exactly. But when you're dropping 40 feet, and the impact was...
Did you see it? Like, were you next to it?
Yeah. It was wild. And he made the right call not to ride the next day. It was a bummer because his line was pretty magnificent. And if they go back to that site, it's still going to be there. It's going to be fresh. But it's a big move. And it's wild, like watching T-Mac and...
the guinea pigs, that was...
Yeah, Tom Eisted guinea that a big hip as well. Like, it's wild. Like, all you can do is sit back and watch. Like, these guys, you trust their skill level, and you're a passenger in their life kind of thing. And I know the feeling when you feel it in your bones when you have the speed. If you're not ready, if you are that go, no-go point, and you can't really take other people's opinions. You need to trust your skill set. And so, when they ask me, am I going fast enough? I'm like, I really don't want to answer that question for you.
I know. I've been at a drop at Rampage, and I thought I had the right speed, and my builder was like, no, I think you're going way too slow. And I just I felt confident that I had the right speed, but then having someone telling me that I'm going too slow was like, in the end, it worked out. We made some modification to the takeoff just because, regardless, I was very scared. But it's really difficult. Everyone's got different technique. Everyone can, especially at this level, like riders are able to do a lot on the takeoff to either shut down the speed or also shut down the air or create more air to actually clear the landing.
Absolutely.
But on jumps that big with impacts that violence, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, your room for error is minimal. And so polishing a landing or making it a little more relaxed, or a case pad or whatever, do your thing.
Totally, yeah. At the end of the day, want the rider to have a great time, finish the run, and be healthy.
Yeah, we want to see success. We want the best run to win. We don't want people to crash out and get hurt. That's the most negative perspective of it all. It's like, we want everybody to have a successful run, and then the person that rode the best takes the win. And that's how all events should be.
So, talking about Rampage, were you involved with the women's Rampage that happened a week prior?
Yeah.
Was it a week prior?
It was 2 days prior.
2 days prior, okay.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was incredible. The level of riding was unbelievable. Robin crushed it. Hands down deserved the win. I don't think anybody would debate that.
No, she looked a run to me seemed better than the other.
Yeah, case in point right there. But it would have been great to have Cami Nogueira still riding. She had a monstrous crash. I believe Chelsea sends it, hit that same drop and nailed it.
Yes.
It would have been awesome to see Chelsea put together a run. I think she probably would have had the only competitive run against Robbins, but unfortunately crashed in the same place she did on her first run. It's a bummer to see, but Gooms took it, crushed it, and it was a huge success. Would have loved to see second runs, but wind was picking up, and they had difficult terrain to work with. It was a little bit shorter and steeper than the location that the guys had.
Yeah.
And so how they were able to groom that mountainside and make it rideable and work for their competition was incredible. It could not have been a better first women's Rampage.
No, it was really cool to watch. Like, I liked a lot the run of Georgia.
Yeah.
That was really cool. That drop I was good friend with some of the builders there. And I was told that drop it looked like nothing in real life than it did on TV. Apparently, lots more exposure. The braking was a challenge.
Big time.
They did incredible.
Yeah.
So I look forward to see season 2, I guess, in 2025.
It's just going to get bigger and better. Like the women's skill set is so evolved and mature now that it is the right time to have women's Rampage, and I fully support it. To actually be there, watch everybody digging, and then crush it on event day was so awesome.
Yeah.
Like the evolution of the sport and Rampage in particular, and now Crankworx as well.
Crankworx, yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. No, every discipline, like, I think it took obviously too long to have women allowed at those events, like they should have been in the first place, but now that they are, like, the level of riding, it's been crazy. Like, everyone's progressed a lot, and yeah, it's been cool to watch. If anything, like, women's Rampage was, almost more fun than watching the guys. I felt they really died, and obviously the guys, we've been watching them for over 20 years, and but seeing the women doing that was like, fresh and new. So the new was really cool. I would have been more excited to ride the women's venue than the men's venue.
Yeah?
Yeah, I felt like there was like more, I guess there was less people on the mountain, right?
Totally.
Because there were eight riders, I believe.
I believe that is correct, yeah.
Yeah, 8 riders versus 21 for the guys.
Was it 21?
They might have lower a little bit this year.
I think it's like 15, is it not?
Yeah, you might be right.
I can't remember. I just work here.